we have enough time here to get this party started, right? So
Yes.
today this month, we are talking about awakening, okay? 2026. Because I feel that a lot of people are walking around asleep, including me, okay?
Mhm.
So I dedicated the year each month to dedicate to a particular theme. And it's an awakening as we awaken to the realities of life.
Hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. So what we're talking specifically about today is developing intuitive intelligence.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So who better to talk to me about this but the Empress Theodora herself? Okay? That's your
Okay.
guest today. Okay? This is
Okay.
what we talked about on our Zoom call. Okay?
Yes.
So, okay, I didn't even introduce myself. Margaret Williams, the publisher of the Empowered Leader publication. I'm a certified leadership coach, a systemic team coach. I have a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology, and 39 years of retired Army civilian. Okay?
Okay.
So, all right, thank you. Hi, Sean. Hi, Brandon. You've been killing it out there. I saw you today. You had over 81 people. You go, boy. And TM, thank you. Tyra, thank you for being here. All right. So we were talking, going back to about what intuitive intelligence really is, but you have to first introduce yourself and explain to us what brought you to Substack. And I'm curious about the name of your publication, how you came up with that name. So why don't you start off there?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I am Empress Theadora. Um, I am the host and creator of the Mediocre Black Woman podcast and publication. It is a spiritual house for Black women. Um, My tagline is "We're dragged in divine," right? Meaning that sometimes we're gonna go through things. Sometimes we're not gonna always be our best selves. Sometimes we're gonna be feeling like spirit is dragging us. But in the midst of that, that's where we find our divinity. That's where we realize that just being who we are has always been enough, right? And so that is the mediocre Black woman. Now, I came to this name while I was sitting in a diner in Atlanta, coming back from, I was in the airport coming back from my friend's bridal shower, and I was on a layover in Atlanta. And I remember being so tired, and I had my travel journal, and I had just spent, beautiful time with my friends, celebrating their upcoming nuptials, just celebrating life with them. And I had been doing a lot of traveling and spending time with friends in general last year. And one of the things I was having a moment about, I was like, all of this, none of this really matters, like just sometimes the work or the overworking that we do. And when I was 26, my best friend, she passed away, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, this job that she's in right now, she'll pass away. They'll be sad for a little bit. But then guess what? They're going to go ahead and fill her seat, not too much longer after that. And from there, I don't know. It just that's what set off a shift in me back then. I was married at the time, got divorced, and that was like a big catalyst for that because I realized she didn't get to do everything that she wanted to do while she was here. So at that time, I was like, I need to make that shift myself. And fast forward to being in that diner in Atlanta, I was just sitting there tired, thinking about what really matters in life when it comes to friendship, when it comes to your health, your spirituality. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of trying to prove myself. Tired of trying to, because y'all know, Black women, our C plus work is, somebody else's, or our A plus work is, oh gosh, my brain is not doing a thing today. Our C plus work is somebody else's A plus plus work, right? And our A plus plus is somebody, so if you did nothing else, you would still be enough. You would still be, excellent, right? And so I just really wanted to create a space where we took off the cape, where we got to breathe. I also wanted to build a space during this time because I knew 2025 on to 2026 was going to be really challenging for a lot of us with everything that's going on in the world currently. And I wanted to create a space like what I have with my actual friends. Like, the voice notes that I do, that's because I send voice notes to my friends and we have deep conversations via them. And so that's what I really wanted to create with the mediocre Black woman. And so that's what the space is. Yeah.
Love your notes. You was laid in the bed when I saw you. That was real. That was genuine. Okay. You laid up there on your pillow and you just be you. And I'm like, I love that. That's why Substack is so wonderful because
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more people going live now. And I don't care. You might be doing your hair. You might be putting on your makeup. We don't care. We're looking for connectedness. We're looking for belongingness. That's
Yeah.
something each and every one of us need in our life.
Yes. 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 Actually, I was just telling my friend this before we hopped on. We were on FaceTime. Actually, she's here in the chat. Lakeisha's here. I was just telling her about my old pastor back home. And one of the first sermons I ever heard of his, he stopped everything and he made us get up and hug each other, say hi, speak. And he was like, most young adults period, are going to work and coming home and they're not hugging nobody, they're not talking to nobody, they're not getting affection, they're not connected. And so, he was like, even if it's just for a moment right here, right now, let's connect. And actually he would do stuff like that all the time. Like we started to have a Friday night service and they made this like coffee shop area and they rolled up like this kind of like what looks like a garage door and had outdoor seating and everything. And so people weren't just watching church inside the sanctuary, they were also watching it in the coffee shop, on the patio. Like that was a time. But yeah, people are missing connection.
That is what I miss from the Baptist church. I remember after, the morning service, we would all get together, all the mothers had cooked. We would all sit there and eat together. We would pray together and we had that connectedness. That's what kept the family together. Okay? You pray together, you stay together, and that's that bond that through all the ups and downs. And that's what keeps you connected to your family, to yourself, to the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what we're missing. Now everybody's on their cell phone. And it's like, what did you say? Were you talking to me? I'm getting messages from everywhere. And I'm like, where's this message coming from? Is it coming from Facebook? Is it coming from LinkedIn? Is it coming from, it's just information overload. I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep up. And I was
Mhm.
telling somebody the other day, oh, they said I sent you an email. Do you know how many emails I get every day? I can't keep track. I can't keep track. And I'm not. And it used to bother me. I don't worry about it no more because if
Mhm.
it's that important, the person will ding me again. Did you get my email? Otherwise, it's just like it just goes into the abyss.
Okay.
Okay, because we have to take care of ourselves. We talked earlier about putting our phone on not disturb. Okay.
Yeah.
I can take comfort with doing that now. Before I couldn't because I have to
Oh.
respond to everybody right away. I don't have to respond right away.
Mhm.
Respond when I feel it's appropriate. And that's okay. Give
Yeah.
yourself grace for doing these things.
Mhm.
Okay? We
Okay.
need to take a pause. We need to take a pause. Do we not?
Yeah. We do. We definitely do. I mean, my phone is on do not disturb 24/7, 7 days a week, unless I need to like know I'm receiving a call. I don't know. I used to be like worried about it or I thought I would feel disconnected, but like if I sometimes get interrupted while doing certain things, it'll take me down a rabbit hole that I'll never get off of. So
You see what
I
I'm
have to get
saying?
over that. Yeah.
Yeah. So give yourself that grace. Say, I'm going to put my phone on. Do not disturb from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and keep that boundary. Keep
Yeah.
that boundary because you have things that you need to do during that time frame because you have other things, obligations, other responsibilities, maybe work, maybe pets, maybe children. We have to be disciplined. Okay.
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
that's what, right?
Mhm.
So intuition tells us, okay, through lived experience, okay, And then we have these emotional signals, okay? Like your body tells you before your mind even registers, this person is not good for you.
Sorry.
Did I hit a nerve?
Oh, that
Yes, did I hit a nerve? I'm sorry.
oh no, it's
You
just
know, it
I had
is
a
what
whole
it is.
I had a whole like, you saw my face, right? I
Yeah.
had a whole flash.
Okay,
Oh
you
my
want to talk
god.
about it? You want to talk
Yeah,
about
you
it?
know, yeah, because okay, I'm notorious, and we just as people, especially as Black people, we are so notorious for. And just so y'all know, I, I'm the host of the Mediocre Black Woman, so I say Black people, and I'm talking to Black people because that's who my audience is. But if you are here, you are also welcome, and you're non-Black. Just so you know, I just want to make sure I say that. But I'm speaking specifically from the Black experience. I feel like a lot of us be trying to give the benefit of the doubt, like
Yeah.
all the time
That's what I was
because of
taught.
how we were
That's what I was
conditioned.
taught. And that's how we
Yes.
get caught up.
Yes,
That's
and
the trap. That's the trap.
I am notorious for that. And so, but I've gotten a lot better over more recent years of like getting the hit, not necessarily making a decision, but making sure that I have boundaries around said interaction and letting it play out to know, to see, but not giving up so much of myself that I'm like in a position where I can't come back from it. And so I met this person over the summer, and they were cool, nice enough, somebody that you have like a casual conversation with, or you see them out somewhere, not somebody I really want to be friends with. And I felt so bad because I was just like, I don't want to be her friend. I don't like her and I don't know why, And I felt so bad saying that because I just couldn't, like, when you can't put your logical mind around it and it's your spiritual mind that's trying to like talk to you. And I was just like, like I don't like her and I can't tell you why. And then a lot of stuff unfolded over the last like maybe month and a half where I was like, oh, there it is. Unfortunately, I had enough boundaries around myself to like know that like, oh, okay, this I didn't get caught up in it. I didn't get pulled too far in it. And I was also right. But I felt bad initially because you don't want to necessarily judge somebody right off of the top. But I just knew, I don't know. My spirit was like, nope, 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 nope.
That's your intuition, sister.
Yes, it is. It is, which is hard sometimes to accept that that's the thing, and the hits come in really fast for me. And I'm just like, "Woo!" But you were saying something earlier about slowing down and being able to listen, which is also a part of controlling, right? What you intake, right, on a daily basis, controlling who you're talking to, when you're talking to them, like how you even wake up in the morning. Like when I wake up in the morning, I have candles always lit pretty much 24/7. And I don't turn on the lights first thing when I'm getting up. Like there's just certain things I just do differently. I make sure I'm praying before I start my day in my prayer closet and like, really sitting and taking that time to give myself the space to hear the hits that are coming through, because if you're not doing those things, if we're ignoring our bodies, ignoring our self-care, and we miss the hits, Because have you noticed when you're tired, you have decision fatigue, you tend to make terrible decisions. If you haven't eaten, you can't hear, So all of those things are really important. But yeah, I just knew. I was like, I don't want to be this person's friend. I don't like them.
And when your intuition tells you, you have to listen. Your
Yes.
body and your intuition, because sometimes, like we talked about, your heart and sometimes your mind will play tricks on you.
Mhm.
And you see things that's really not there.
Yeah.
We invent things that we want, things we desire. And behind those things is the truth.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes what I'll do, I'll play games with my intuition and with God. I'll be like, okay, look, because I always tell Spirit, I'll be like, I love to be proved wrong. I was like, so if I'm wrong, I was like, show me this, or put me in this or this scenario. So I was like, prove me wrong, like please. I want to be wrong because I don't want to be right about my hit instincts about people all the time. So sometimes I'll play with God. I'll be like, look, show me this, like prove me wrong. and let me see. Or maybe it's just not the season for that person, but maybe it's a future season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, show me, like put me in these predicaments, and I'll know I was wrong or I was right, you know? So sometimes I even have started to do that over the years, you know? And I was wrong once recently, which I was like, "Oh, that's exciting." I was wrong. I was like, "Ooh, good," you know? Like it was just a misunderstanding, and you know, so sometimes I'll ask Spirit like, "Clear this up if it's a misunderstanding, or if I'm right, put me in this situation with this person or whatever," you know? So sometimes I play with it too.
I like that. I consider that like a cognitive reasoning. Okay. That's like a third party. Okay. You got your intuition, then you got your body, then you use your, that third check. That's like our government system. You had the three phases of government. Okay. So the number three here is significant.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know I'm not into numerology, but I'm
Yeah.
sure if you know, we can figure it out. Okay. So
Mhm.
I think that should be I think that is a perfect example of how to make decisions in the future before you rush. Because they say fools rush in. That was a song back in the day. Okay. And that's true. Fools rush in. Stop, take a step back, look at the situation, because we know all glitter, gold is not, glitter is not gold. Okay.
Mhm.
Everything glow's not, okay. Well, you understand what I'm
Uh-huh,
saying.
everything that glitter
So
ain't gold. I got you.
thank you. So if we look at the experience that we have, these stored patterns that we've had throughout our lives, through the behaviors we see from people. Okay. And then we look at these emotional signals from our body. Okay. And then we take these cognitive reasoning, these logical checks, and then we can weigh it up and see where we land. We don't always get it right, but at least we're doing our homework up front to make sure we're going in the right direction, because people and things can quickly take us off our path, like you said.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And also, like, let's keep it real. Like, we all have our triggers too, you know? And I have a really strong self awareness, but sometimes, like, that's why I'm like, okay, am I tripping, spirit? Or is this me? Or is this the person? But this time I was like, no, no, this is not me. But like, we have our triggers too. So I like to really like check in that respect, you know. But having a clear, vision of self is very important in these scenarios, right?
Yes, because if we don't know ourselves, who we are, and what we want, we can easily be triggered and these patterns, and we can quickly be taken off kilter and off our path. We know that because this thing has happened to me in numerous of times. And so after you see, the pattern, because usually it's the same. It's
Hmm.
the same, the individual changes, but the pattern remains the same.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Yes.
once you recognize that, then you're like, okay, I'm out. Because I don't
Hmm.
have time to waste. Okay. I don't have time to waste. We don't know if we can go out there and get hit by a car today. You can take that nonsense over there.
Hmm.
Okay. Because it's not welcome here.
Yeah. No, I understand. I
Okay.
mean, I've lost many people in my life, and that has made me and at an early age. Like my first loss was when I was 14 years old. You know, I lost my mom. And then, when I was in college, I lost my stepdad and then best friend. Like, you know, so I um I have placed a lot of value on the value of time and the value of like really spending your time with people that truly light a fire under you. Doesn't mean you're gonna always agree, doesn't mean everything's gonna be always sunny, but like there is a reason. Like if you heard the way I talk about some of my friends, like you would get it. Like or the way they talk about me. Like that's the way people gush and we just have these really strong feelings about each other. Like those are the types of people that, you should be surrounding yourself with. Because yeah, time is in this plane anyway, in this physical realm is limited, and we have to use it wisely. So we don't have all the time in the world, but we can maximize it.
Absolutely. And the raw experiences that we have gained, we utilize that it helps in the intuitive, intelligent process. Okay,
Yes.
when you
Yes.
feel it in your body, believe it and move on.
Mhm.
Whether you're wrong or not, I'd rather be wrong and be safe
Mhm.
than right and fucked up.
Yeah, and you
Flat
know
out.
what? The thing about intuition is that it moves fast, right? So, like, for instance, I had made this new friend a while ago, and I was so excited in the moment, right? And she was like, I'm gonna take this road trip. And she was going to one of my favorite cities in the United States, New Orleans. That's my favorite city in the United States.
Hey,
And they were like, you want to come? Blah blah. I was like, yeah, because I never had driven. I had never stayed in a hostel. So I was like, I'm at this age. I was probably like be the last time I would do something like that, like stay somewhere like that. So I was like, you know what? Why not? And it felt good to say yes in the moment, and that's what they wanted me to do. It was good. But then later on, things shifted because of just the energy that had changed, not between us or anything like that, but I was just in a different season at that point that we were supposed to go. And I allowed myself to be like, you know what? Actually, things have changed for me and would love to come, but things have shifted and nothing fell apart between everything's fine, didn't cramp her good time or nothing like that, or mine. And things changed, because I love listen, I was trying to, figure out everything to go do that, but I was like, no, I really can't this time, so I've also learned to give myself permission to allow that intuition to change. Hi, Eve.
hi, Eve. Yes. Hello, everyone that joined us late. Yeah. So I really love that. So what you're talking about sometimes too is like pattern awareness, because I swear sometimes I've seen a person and I swear I've seen them before. Okay, I just don't remember where. I was like, yo, you look familiar, and it's true. You know. Uh, I don't want to get philosophical, but
I mean, that's what this is for. You're philosophical. Who you talking? You know who you talking to, right? Like, sorry. Oh.
okay, because I don't know what people are going to think, but in
Who cares?
reality, uh, we have some of us have lived past lives. Okay,
Oh yeah,
that,
absolutely,
that's why
1000%.
that's why I said that. That's why I
Yeah.
said that. Okay, but it's true, right? So you can see somebody, you're like, damn, I know I've seen this person before. I just can't put my finger on it. And I've been to some places before that I know I've been there before, but I just can't remember. And it's
Mhm.
ironic. And so I'm like, I keep these things to myself. That's why I said philosophical.
Well,
So
you see the chats going off because they know too. Yeah, y'all know too. Y'all know too.
okay, okay,
Y'all
we keep it
know too.
real then here, okay?
Yeah, y'all know too.
Yeah. So yes, yeah. So also, we have body intelligence as well. Your body detects truth. We talked about that before your mouth can justify it, because you go into a dangerous situation, your mind, you're not going to know automatically, but your body will tell you, okay, you have to get out of here. Something get ready to jump off. Because when I was a kid, I skipped school one day, okay, and so I ended up in this candy store. Okay, and all of a sudden I felt some heavy stuff coming. Okay, and I'm like, oh, I got to get out of here. And these guys came in and robbed the store. Okay, and I was praying. I was like, oh my god. Okay, and I just froze. So that's what I'm telling you. Your body will tell you shit before your mind register.
Wow.
And by the time you realize, sometimes it's too late. You can't get out.
Wow.
Haven't your
Mm.
body told you stuff too? And you
Oh
realize,
yeah.
damn. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%.
Right. So this is we need to pay attention to all this. Growing up in an abusive household, my my body, my nervous system was always on high alert.
Yes.
Because I never knew when the punishment, where the pain, where the tears, where the fist was coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. 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 And this is why, you know, First of all, sorry, I just want to say this. Thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable because that's hard to share. So I just want to honor that for a second. Um, but also, I want to say that this is why it's important for us to really do nervous system work as especially, and this is for everybody, because with everything that we're consuming, everything that we're seeing, that we're intaking, like we're at a point now where we are kind of overriding our nervous systems in a lot of ways, and overriding our bodies. That's why actually I'll send you the link so you can put it in the notes for folks, but there is this meditation that I um wrote up and put out there. It's called body trust because sometimes we ignore our bodies, and essentially in the meditation I'm giving us permission, like telling our bodies that like I'm going to listen to you from now on, because what happens is the more that we continue to ignore it, our body's like, okay, you don't really hear from me anyway. So even if you like start listening to your body initially, your body might still be like, girl, I don't want to hear that from you because you've been ignoring me for a long time. So like our body starts to trust us back when we start actually like listening to it and following what's actually happening. And so our bodies need to know that they're safe with us. And so in situations like yours growing up, or emotionally abusive situations like what I've experienced, you learn to override your nervous system. And that's why that's also a key to intuition. Because again, if we don't trust our bodies and our bodies don't trust us, we're not trusting what comes out of it. And the crown chakra, I like to call it our God intelligence, because that's where spirit is just dropping stuff. And then our intuition, our third eye, is allowing us to see it and trust it and like believe it. So if our bodies don't trust us and we don't trust our bodies and we don't have integrity with our bodies, we're going to be blocked when it comes to our intuition.
That's why most of us walking around blocked.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's so much going on. Like, and for people that are like tapped into the news, social media, like heightened spaces 24/7, I don't know how you do it. And I know we
Me
all want to
neither.
be aware. I know we all want to be supportive. But sometimes the most supportive thing that you could do is to log off. Like, if you want to log off now because you need to go take care of yourself, I wouldn't be offended, right? But sometimes you need to log off because you're not doing anybody good by not listening to your body, So anyway, that's my thought on it. That's the biggest block to intuition, in my opinion. You know, um,
Yes. And that's
yeah,
what they want. They want to keep us distracted so they can go over there and take whatever they want.
yes,
Okay?
absolutely, absolutely. That is the. I don't know if y'all haven't learned it by now. That is the strategy. That is the prime supreme strategy to keep you distracted, scared,
Keep
and fearful. Because when I told you earlier, when you're depleted in your body and you're decision fatigued and you haven't eaten, you haven't drank no water, you haven't taken a shower, you haven't done nothing for yourself, you don't make good decisions. That's just the
exactly. And also to keep us fighting among ourselves. And what are we fighting among ourselves about? Really?
I don't know.
Okay? I
Yeah.
hear some black people over here saying, well, we're going to stay over here. I hear white people, well, we're going to stay over here. And then I hear other people, well, we're going to stay over here. And what are we accomplishing while we're sitting over here and our infrastructure and our government is crumbling? You don't think that's going to impact you?
Well, some people are learning now that anybody could get it with this administration.
That's what I'm
Anybody could get it.
saying.
Anybody could get it.
At any given fucking time,
Yeah, anybody
we're
could get it.
seeing people shot in the streets. For what? Okay? So while you over there minding your own business, the world is falling apart. Our school system is falling apart. Our healthcare system is falling apart. Our retirement system is falling apart. And is this
Well,
the world that you want to leave for your kids and grandkids?
yeah. Well, some of these things need to fall apart so better things can come back in its place. So, uh,
Yes, these all things, you're right. These all these systems and organizations need to fall so we can rebuild it ourselves.
Yes.
Those
Welcome to the
Wednesdays
age of
should be built.
Aquarius. Yeah, welcome to the age of Aquarius, y'all.
Okay?
Mhm.
Because we know the system is messed up. We know it's messed up.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's also, we talk about intuition, but there's also emotional discernment, which is about emotional regulation. Because,
Ooh. Mhm.
okay, because we know going out there burning down our neighborhood, which I've seen happen in the 60s, is
Mhm.
not going to accomplish anything. So what can we do instead? One of the things they did back in those days was nonviolent resistance.
Mm.
Utilize the tools that we already know that work throughout history. Okay? They didn't even have social media back in the day, and they were successful.
Mhm.
So what is our excuse? We don't have any excuse.
Well, we don't, but also I would say, like, okay, with the age of social media, and goes back to discernment. This goes back to emotional discernment. You know, like paying attention when you get a hit about something is also discerning where to get your information from. And I feel like that's the biggest challenge we have in the age of media and social media, and um, is what being shown to us real, and is this person real? Yeah.
We don't know. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I question everything.
Yeah.
Okay?
I want to read some of these comments because they're really good.
Okay, go ahead.
We're sheep being led to slaughter. Yes, Madam Power, Madam Power. Oh, I like that. And then neurodivergent hodgepodge with the claps and the snaps. Yes, I see you. And then Millie Jones. I'm not gonna try to say the last part of your name because I don't want to butcher it. Okay, but what you said here about uh Saturn and Neptune. Yes, Saturn and Neptune are going to kiss this year, according to my chart. I love that because you know what, Saturn, Big Daddy Saturn, don't play no games, and then Neptune, and them teaming up is gonna bust through any illusions, any cycles, any karma. Like that's a good year for you. I mean, it's gonna be challenging, but it's gonna be a good year for you because you're gonna work through some of that stuff. Um, and then
Who gonna work through it?
this is Millie.
Okay, okay.
And then bigger
Um,
things seem like they are being played out. Yes, 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 yes. You guys are all saying really good things in here.
yeah, Terry Ann said boundaries are so important but hard to establish.
Yes,
No, it's will. It just takes willpower. Do you love yourself? That's
yes.
all it's about. If you love yourself, boundaries are easy to establish. Okay?
Yeah.
We have
Well,
to start somewhere. It's just baby steps. Baby steps.
yeah, it could be hard to get used to. It's an adjustment because when you're not used to setting boundaries, like I get it, but like you're saying, Margaret, the more and more you care about yourself, the easier and easier it is to set boundaries. Like,
It
but
is.
what about me? Like, what about my needs? Because everybody else will always take care of their own needs.
Right. Everybody in my life was only concerned with satisfying their own needs, and my needs went unmet my entire life. And so 2026, I set boundaries. Okay? I
Mm-hmm.
cut people off and I keep moving.
Yeah.
And I don't feel
Well,
bad about it. I feel free.
let
Those
me
chains
ask
off.
you.
You
Let
know
me ask
what
you
I'm
a
saying? You're
question.
hearing around these. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
When you no, you're good. You're excited. I get it. I feel the energy. So let me ask you a question though. When you're before you're cut, because again, I want to be cognizant. Because like, okay, I'm imagining that like if you're having these disagreements with people, are you having conversations before you just cut them off? Like, and in some, I know some cases where there's a hard line where like that was wrong, like you got to go, right? But then sometimes
Right.
there's things where it's like, oh, that was like legitimately a misunderstanding because of like we come from different. So like, are most of these like conversations, or are people just crossing a known line and you're cutting them off? Like, what does that look like?
You know what? That's a good question because we are a product of our environment. What I feel is disrespectful, you may not. But again, me and you come from the same cultural background. If I tell you something and you'll say, okay, let me give you an example and you tell me what you think about it. I had somebody to tell me that I was responsible for my own feelings. Would that be considered disrespectful for you?
No,
Okay, okay. I'm
but also
I'm
I don't know the
sensitive.
context of the conversation, right? So, like,
Okay,
okay, for instance, let's say, okay, I told you, your glasses are too big for your face and you got upset. Well, you're responsible for your feelings because, like, you're responsible for how you feel. But no, I actually said something to intentionally hurt you, right? That's where I feel
yes.
like they're responsible for how, like, the intention behind what they said. Your glasses aren't too big for your face. I just didn't want to use something like really negative, like that.
I
Yeah.
didn't take offense about
Okay.
that.
It was just an
Okay.
example. But I just want to make sure your glasses are perfectly framed for your face. But that, like, when I'm saying, if I'm saying that with like that kind of like, malice, then you're not like, I'm responsible for how I made you feel in that moment because that was like wrong. But there's some times where, like how I mentioned earlier about our triggers, like, am I tripping because this is a trigger and I'm sensitive about this area? Or did this person really like just cross the line? So I need context. I'll never be like yes or no. I need to know the whole story to be like yes or no.
That's why I sometimes will, being highly sensitive, I'll give you two or three chances to make sure. I'm like, okay, maybe that's legitimate, okay. But then if you come back and gaslight me and then tell me I misunderstood what you said, to me that's making me you say that I'm stupid and that I'm ignorant. Okay,
Mm.
now that pisses me the hell off, and we're done talking.
Yeah, well,
There's
like
nothing else to talk about.
a great follow-up in that scenario from that person would be like, "You know what? I am so sorry that I hurt your feelings. I didn't know that that was something that, like, I really genuinely wasn't trying to do that, and I apologize." Like, it's so simple to do that, and then we watch for the changed behavior.
Your tone,
Yes,
your
because
tone, the
tone
tone,
matters.
it does.
It does.
Exactly. So you don't have to beat me upside the head for me to realize that you're not in my corner and you're not for me.
Yeah,
So at that point, you disconnect yourself from the situation
yeah.
and move on.
Well,
Okay?
I agree. I agree. But I always have 1,001 question because where's this person from? Because sometimes people from other places be like saying stuff because they're learning, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I always have 1,000,001 questions. But I think, like, again, I would like to see, like, if we've been in friendship or we've been in community for some time, that we should be able to have conversations of repair. Like, things aren't always going to be, you know, smooth sailing. We're gonna have misunderstandings. Like, even though we're both black, I grew up, I don't know where you grew up, but I grew up in Inglewood, California, in the hood. And then I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area. I was around, a lot of Asian folks, a lot of white folks, which I hadn't been around growing up because I was around black and brown folks. And then I'm in Texas now, which is a whole different, beast within itself. And most of my friends are from the East Coast. So I'm a hodgepodge. And I was married to somebody from West Africa before I was divorced, right? So I'm a hodgepodge of like experiences. So, like, I don't know, I just can't, I don't know. That's why I feel like repair is one of the most important friendship or just life skills, but one of the most important friendship values and skills for me when I'm in relationship with somebody.
Well, I grew up in Detroit, okay?
Oh,
Then okay? So then I spent two tours in Iraq. I spent
mhm,
two tours in Israel, and I traveled around various places during my tours.
mhm,
So I communicate with everybody. Everybody see that I do all these collaborations with people, regardless of whether you're male or female, gay or straight or whatever, and regardless of where you come from or your religious leanings. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not going to let you disrespect me. And certain things I just don't forgive.
yeah.
Okay, I just don't forgive and I move on because I know from learned experience that once you compromise your
Oh,
beliefs
yeah.
and your values, it's downhill from there.
It just keeps
Because
going. It just keeps getting worse.
right,
It doesn't stop. That's why
exactly.
you got to discern things. But I would hope
Yes.
with time spent, time in, that we have a conversation of some sorts. And there's sometimes where no conversation is necessary. Like I feel like
That's right.
So, um, yeah, because I definitely was queen of the cutoff for a very long time, just like. But then there are some situations where I was like, I reflected back once I had more tools and more capacity, to where I was like, oh, I could have handled this a little bit differently, like I definitely, I was not my best self. I did not know any better on this, and now I have more capacity, more tools. I might handle it differently in this, in the future. So, yeah, it's all a flow and a balance, and we figure it out as we go. But yeah, I was just curious about that because I see a lot of people online talking about cutting folks off and doing this and doing that, and I'm just like, but did you get curious and did you ask questions? Did you like, I don't know. So that's my thought about that because again, we're all lonely, we're isolated, and we're, not in community enough. And I think it's worth it to try to make community work because it's so easy to shut your phone off, to like go isolate, to like decide not to deal with it, to block, to delete, to do all of that. And yeah, we need to repair where we can, where it makes sense, where you value the relationship or the friendship, whatever it is, you know.
I agree with you because I'm a big avoider and I will cut you off and keep moving. But I'm going to be honest with you. I am suffering during that time because I have no closure. Okay. So I will apologize for the part I played. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, uh, but as far as taking it any further, if you haven't put anything into the relationship, then it's not worth me investing any more of my time in it. A relationship is a two-way street. You
It
can't put
is.
in 100% and expect to give zero. Okay, when I see you giving zero and I'm giving 100%, we have no relationship.
Mm,
Okay, that's what I want to explain to you.
mm-hmm.
It goes two way. It's a two-way street. I'm not going to
It
give you
definitely is.
100% and you're going to give me zero. That's not going to work.
It definitely is. And I'm gonna drop this in the chat for folks listening to this part right here. Ooh, I feel attacked. I'm about to say it, and I don't want to say it, but they want me to say it. But this is the truth. I feel attacked. So,
I'm
like,
sorry.
no, not from you, not from you, from what they're telling me, about this. But you know, for my overgivers, for my people pleasers, or us who are reforming from it, um, sometimes I had to look at myself and be like, were they even asking me to give them all of that, And I
It's
was like,
fair.
I need to pull back because why am I doing all of this? I need to allow space for people to meet me halfway. And that's why I said I feel attacked because I really didn't like that revelation that I had when I was in the closet praying. But I was like, I gotta allow people to come towards me too. Because I feel like for me, I'll say this for me, and y'all could drop it in the chat if you want to say amen if that's ever been you. But I feel like I was compensating and building space so that somebody couldn't get a chance to disappoint me by filling in the gaps, because sometimes that's what we're doing is trying to protect ourselves by, over functioning so that people don't leave us or people don't feel, threatened by us or people don't feel like there's this gap. We got to let people come to us mutually too, So I just want to drop that in the chat because you are worthy of having mutual reciprocal friendships, but we get in our own way by not allowing people to meet us, halfway. Yeah,
It's
Amelie,
be-
it is.
oh, I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I'm
No, you're
sorry.
okay.
No, I'm sorry. That is because of the trauma that we have faced. I suffer from self-sabotage and also a fear of abandonment because my mother abandoned me. And you try to
Mm,
hold on to these relationships and these things ain't no damn good and you need to hold it. You need to get rid of it. But you're like, oh, I want to hold on to it because it gives you some comfort to know it's going to be there for you when you need it. But it's not. It's an illusion we made up in our minds. We cannot fulfill our needs from someone else. We have to fulfill it within ourselves. Once we
mhm,
fulfill these inadequacies or within ourselves, then we can come to a person as whole person. And then we find the love that we seek, exterior love that we seek. But we have to first love ourselves.
Mm. Yes, I'm seeing everybody's comments and I'm just like, huh, I'm feeling overwhelmed with emotion about that because it's just so true. Like, everything you're saying, Margaret, and everything they're saying in the chat, like we woo, we gotta make space. We gotta love ourselves enough and make space for what it is. Like, because that's when I've heard this question come up from a lot of Black women that I know, which is that question you guys heard me say it earlier of what about me? And we have this question of what about me when we're continuously putting ourselves on the back burner, you know what I'm saying? And then we're hoping that okay, we've put all of this in for other people and they're just going to naturally do that. But again, there's an unmet need that we haven't necessarily communicated and people are seeing you overfunction like this and thinking you're comfortable overfunctioning in this way, and mm, yeah, like it's work that we have to do, otherwise we'll keep overfunctioning, and that's why a lot of us be tired too. Black women, it's not just work, it's also our relationships, it's our friendships. And what I've noticed is that there's a correlation a lot of times for what we're accepting in our work life is also very indicative of what we've been accepting in our personal lives.
And then we wonder why we're miserable and why we're unhappy. That's why. Look in the mirror.
And neurodivergent hodgepodge said it, and then you burn out. Exactly. Longing for something not there, Millie said. I'm just saying.
We can't
Yes,
look for
Ashley.
that in other people. We can't blame those people. We blame ourselves. We
Yes.
set ourselves up to be played.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality.
Yes, I've seen a handful of Black women and non-binary people have to fight burnout. Mirror work is a good place to oh, we gonna talk about mirror work. And then I don't wanna skip over what Ashley said, but she said that I just had this convo heavy on hoping they don't leave. Listen, heavy on if I keep giving, maybe just maybe you'll also reciprocate. Listen,
No,
yes.
no, they'll never give it to you. Why would they do
Mhm.
that? That takes work. Okay, that means they have to be responsible and accountable. They don't want that. They don't want that.
Yes. Millie talked about mirror work here, and that's some of the
You
most
want to talk on
powerful.
that?
I mean, okay,
We
it's
can.
exactly how it sounds, like you facing you, right?
Right, right.
And, ooh, Imma leave it right there for now. Imma leave it right there, but yeah, it's like you facing you.
We have to do that work, like Lamar said. Okay, Lamar
Yes.
talked about that. We have to clean out our closet. Okay,
Yes.
we're gonna be
Yes.
cleaning that closet out until the day we get ready to pass to the other side. Okay,
Yes, it is
so,
like, yeah, it's always something else we're learning, something else we're growing in?
to become our best selves, we have to do the work. It's not going
Yes.
to just fall out the sky. Okay, you got to do the work.
Mhm. Oof.
Uh,
Mhm.
so okay, we talked about what we didn't talk about when we talk about intuition is the signal versus the ego filtering. Okay,
Oh,
you okay?
ego ego stands
Yes.
for ego stands for edging God out, y'all.
Okay, talk to us about it.
Yes. Ego is when we're only not only, we're mostly doing this for our own um I don't want to even say for upliftment because it's not necessarily the goal, but we're not listening to God anymore. So I feel like when ego starts to get in play, that's why I call it edging God out because we're no longer really able to hear what God is trying to tell us. And we've kind of talked about this actually throughout, Margaret, because we've talked about like stepping back and deciding, oh, are these our triggers? Or is this, am I being sensitive to this? Is this my ego kicking in? Or is this really what's happening? And being able to convene and, have that awareness to understand when your ego is at play versus when this is really what's going on. That's really the signal, you know? And so I found that anytime I've been in my ego, I can't hear nobody but me. Right. So that's the biggest telltale, you know. There's no filtering happening. It's just me like this is just it, you know? And when it's a signal, I've noticed it's a very clear, like ping, you know? It's very clear. It's quiet. A lot of times it's just like a really? You know, like, hmm. Versus like this loud feeling of panic and like, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
is what's going on, you know? That's when I feel like, ooh, the ego is at play because it's unsettled, you know? It's like heightened. It's like, you know, like when I got that hit about that woman, I was like, I don't want to be her friend, and I don't know why. It was real quiet. I didn't announce it to everybody, you know. Nice meeting you too, neurodivergent hodgepodge. I love your name, by the way. We'll see you next time. Um, but yeah, it's real quiet when it's a true signal, it's your intuition. But when it's your ego, everything feels frantic. And sometimes you're even trying to get more answers from outside of yourself and outsource the, you know, the decision and all of that. But I feel like that's the first biggest telltale that you're operating in your ego is you can't hear, but you're also frantic and panicked instead of like quiet and settled.
And during this time, you come back to your breath, okay? You need to have this emotional regulation, okay? And with your nervous system and make a decision based on a place of strength, not weakness, because you
Yes.
always will make the wrong decision from that frantic place of fear.
Yes. Yes. We must be resourced to make the right decisions sometimes, you know?
Right. And sometimes when you can't figure out what to do, sometimes it's best not to make a decision until you figure it out. But you
Mhm.
make it. But the wrong decision can cost you, okay?
Yes.
So when you can't when you're in a situation like that, I'll listen to my body. Okay? I'll
Mhm.
listen to my body.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So so the last thing I wanted to touch on uh is the calibration through action.
Yeah.
Okay? So we talked about that at the beginning, how this collaboration, I mean, calibration, recalibration, when we talked about paying attention to, you know, all of these things, you know. So how do you calibrate,
Hmm.
recalibrate?
Can you maybe ask it a different way for me?
Okay. Basically, recalibration is just basically taking these steps that we talked about at the beginning, when we talked about the what your body is feeling
Okay.
what your mind, you know, you have an argument with your mind yourself, and then you have your intuition, and then you
Okay.
have your logic check where you check things out and see if all these things are adding up before you make an actual decision.
Mhm. That makes sense. So, it depends on the scenario that I'm in, so I'll say that. But let me even back up even further before we get into that part. But when I first started, like, trying to, like, listen to my body more and to, like, try to, like, tap into my intuition more, of course, I don't have it near me. I mean, I have a notebook near me, but I don't have the little small one that I wanted to show you guys. It's in my room. But, when or maybe okay, anyway, I don't have it in here. It's in the room. But when I first was, like, getting these hits and stuff or, like, trying to really listen to my body more, I have this little yellow notebook that I carry around with me. It's like real small. It could fit into the smallest purse, the smallest pocket, you know, and it has a little pin that's like attached to it. And I would just stop and write something down. Like if something came up and it hit me, I would just write it down, you know? I wouldn't judge it. I wouldn't, you know, do anything with it. I would just put it down there until I had the time or the space to go sit with it, you know? It's not always possible in some of the situations because some situations do require a response in the moment, but where you don't aren't required to have a response in the moment, or where you have the ability to say, hey, you know what? Let me pause and think about that. Cause like that person that I was telling y'all about that I was like, I don't want to be this person's friend. They asked me something crazy. like a month later, and that's where I was like, "Oh, I see where it's at and why I felt the way that I felt." But even when they asked me that question, I asked them, I was like, or I asked them, I told them, I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm a pause because I don't want to respond from a heightened place. So just give me like a day and I'll get back to you, you know?" And, I had the ability to pause that conversation and come back to it after I had let my emotions come down, because again, since we're not used to trusting our bodies in a lot of these situations early on, we have to give ourselves space and allow ourselves and our bodies and our minds to get in alignment about what's going on, right? That's the first signal that you're showing your body that you trust it, or that it can trust you rather. Or like you go into a friend's house and you don't want to stay long because you're an introvert, and or you're the type of person that needs to refuel by yourself, and too much engagement is too much engagement. You put a time limit on yourself and you say you're not going to be pressured out of that time limit, and then you get your happy butt up, you say goodbye to them people and you go home, and guess what, your body trusts you. So it's not these like big grand gestures of oh, I got this decision about I need to change my job, so now I need to go quit and I know I need to go talk to my boss. No, it's just sometimes honoring the hit that you're getting and not necessarily making a decision just yet, but saying, I heard you, I honor you. And so it's those little things like, oh my God, okay, because I started work 3 weeks ago. I started a new job and I haven't been working in a while. So I had to get myself together, right? And I have these like smart home devices, and I set up a timer to turn off all my lights at 11:30 p.m. and it starts playing rain sounds. And so I forgot that I had set this up, and I had been doing good to where I wasn't going to sleep past 11:30, so I didn't really need it. But one day I was up at like 11:31, I was hitting publish or schedule on a post, and all of a sudden the lights go off, the rain sounds start playing, and my thing was like, "Good night." And I was like, "Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and put this away." Because I said I was gonna do that, right? And that's something small, but like in past me would have worked past the time that I set and turned the lights back on and, done all of this stuff. But it was just so funny. I was like, you know what? Even if I don't go to sleep right away, I'm gonna go lay down, I'm gonna put the stuff away that I said I was gonna do. Right. And so it's just about starting to like do little things to allow your body to trust you again, because your body is distrustful AF. Like, girl, you said that before. You said you was gonna start working out. You said you was gonna stop drinking. You said you was gonna go to bed on time. You said you wasn't gonna have me out here with these people I don't like. And yet here we are again. So listen, sis, I'ma need some more receipts from you before I can file the tax return, because you ain't doing what I asked you to do in the first place. And you ain't doing what you said you was gonna do. So I just need to see the receipts and I can file it away for later, you know? So it's just like our bodies need that reassurance and that confirmation. So I always start with those little things. Don't try to tackle developing your intuition all at one time. It just, just it's overwhelming. And again, it puts more pressure back on your body. So it takes you away from what you were trying to do in the first place by trying to tackle everything at once. It's just set smart goals, smart, oh gosh, specific, measurable, action oriented, uh oh, what's the R again, child? Mm, I'll come back to that one. Imma give you the acronym, you can put it in the notes. I can't remember the SMART acronym, but it's about setting goals that you can actually measure, see, and it's not overwhelming. Oh, attainable, right? So that you just don't, you don't overwhelm your senses, because overwhelming yourself, like, even if you know something is good for you, realistic, thank you. See, this is why I said it, y'all gonna fill it in for us. Realistic was the R. Somebody come through with the T, because I can't remember the T. Um, but time,
Something.
yes, time measured or something, like time sensitive, something like that. We'll find it though. We'll put it in there. But your nervous system, even when you're trying to do something good for yourself and your logical mind knows that it's good, but your physical body still hasn't really caught up to that. So like if you try to put pressure on yourself by doing too much, right? Then you're gonna overwhelm your nervous system and you're back at square one. And sometimes worse off than square one, because you're depleting, you're not resourced, right? So just little things at a time. That's what I would say to start.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Make small, low risk decisions intuitively. Okay. Track outcomes without self judgment. Adjust, not punish.
Okay. Okay. Adjust, not punish. Exactly. Like, oh, we're our worst critics. But like, if a friend came to you and was like, I wrote down this feeling that I had, are you gonna be like, oh, that's not enough, you need to do more? No. So why do we do that to ourselves? Like, oh my God, you wrote that down? That's a goal. Like, that's great. Like, I have little reminders in my iPhone, like now that I'm working again, and I put, oh, I showered today. Oh, I ate. Oh, I went to therapy, and I have them set for the different time blocks, and they go off every day for the weekdays. And it's little stuff too in there, like, like, oh, I played the Wordle, and me and my sister and her husband, we all share it in the chat. We share our results. So did I do my Wordle today? Like, it's all in there. And that's just little things. Like, my family
That's
was
it.
cracking me up because I went to sleep all the time because they know I'm a night owl. I'll be up. I'll be up all night. But it's just, are we patting ourselves on the back for the little things that we're doing? And talk to the mirror, like Millie said. Yeah, we got to talk to the mirror.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where we need to start. Okay.
Yeah. Do it on a day where you could, be at home alone when you first started because that mirror work. Listen, you're gonna be sobbing and carrying on. You don't want to mess up your makeup before you got to go back for the work day. But I remember the first time doing mirror work, I was like, oh no, oh no. I'm looking at myself crying and carrying on. I was like, oh, this needs to be done at a very specific specific time when you haven't done it, initially. But yeah, those are the things that you should start doing. Start with little things to recalibrate. And then you can add on the bigger things. And then your body's like, oh, that's my intuition. That's not my ego. Me and God are in communication. We're connected. Okay. I know where this is really coming from. And it's work rebuilding that trust. Like, I gave up alcohol. Um, what's it been now? What, 14 months now? And I would have never thought I'd been able to do that, y'all. Like, I love me a good drink. Listen, I'll be outside. I love me a good drink. I love me some wine. I never thought I'd be able to do that. But guess what? That was dulling my signals. That was dulling my connection to my body, to myself. And so sometimes you're gonna have to make adjustments, and sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small, but you just take it one day at a time.
Absolutely. One step at a time, one thought at a time,
Yeah.
you'll get there. Okay. Uh, as they say, God grant the serenity, okay, to accept the things
I can't
that I,
actions.
yeah, the courage to change the things I can.
And the wisdom to know the difference.
Know the difference. And I have one of those things at my desk every day. So as a constant reminder.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, that is the serenity prayer, y'all, okay?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So
Right.
did that answer your question, Millie, about whether we had any rituals? It's things that you just adapt that resonate with you, whatever that may be. Journaling,
Yes.
meditating,
Prayer
exercising,
closet, yep. Writing, yep. On the treadmill, yep. Like,
listening to music.
talking to a friend could be a thing. Like, me and one of my friends, y'all know her because we did it together on live. We were taking off our makeup together. We do it a lot of weeks, and it's simple, but it lets you know that you're ending your day, and we're just like, catching up, kikiing, and it's simple, but it's just like it's another way to co-regulate. You don't have to do like nervous system regulation alone all the time. Sometimes you're co-regulating with your people. So it's just anything that brings you back into a present state of mind, while you're doing something. Getting out of the shower, putting your oils on and taking your time, putting your oils on, your lotion on, like, that's a ritual. Like, it's all, if you romanticize and ritualize your life, like, I had this friend, she did this thing called the reset, or I think this is what it's called, the reset. But it's when you kind of make your diet down to bare bones things and you're cooking all natural things. And so one of the things that she would have us do is get like a whole chicken, and you're using all the parts of the chicken throughout the week. You're not just like throwing it in the oven, that's it. But like, once you get down to the bones, you're now making bone broth. But while you're prepping your chicken to eat and put and roast or whatever, however you like to cook your chicken, you take your time with it. You dress the chicken, you put the herbs on it, you thank the chicken for the sustenance and for what it's doing for your body. Like, you can make anything a slow down. ritual. We always in a rush, but anything could be a ritual, you know?
This has been such a powerful conversation.
It has
Sister, I
been.
am so blessed by this conversation,
Same.
and I hope it was blessed for everyone else as well. Does anybody have any questions at all?
Yeah, because I'm open for questions. I love this, and y'all have been Margaret, first of all, your energy is, like, top tier for this time of the night. I was just like, I appreciate that. Also, the audience, y'all have been top tier, which is chiming in, connecting, because one of the reasons why I started was for community, right? Not just, "Here you go, here's the post." Like, I wanna know who y'all are, and I wanna see you, I wanna talk to you, I wanna hear you, you know? So I'm really glad that you all were vocal and spoke up and, got what you came here to get. When I go to watch
Mhm.
something, I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. Is it 3 to 5
Exactly.
things? Is it one thing, So, yes. Y'all
That's
great
why
with
we that's why we do these things, okay? So you
yeah,
guys can connect with us on a personal level, okay?
yeah, yeah. So Genevieve, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. It's so Margaret and I, this is the first time we've actually done a live together, so that's new, by the way. And then we both though like on our own do a lot of different lives. You're consistent with your times. But for me, like if y'all subscribe or follow me, you'll see like sometimes it's not even planned. I just say I'm going live. Like I'm pretty sure I think according to my schedule, I'm going live on Sunday, which it should be on my page, and I'm gonna be doing the sound bowl healing on Sunday for complex emotions. Because there's a lot of that going on. But like I do my full moon readings, new moon readings, and sometimes just conversations. So, if you subscribe, you'll get notified right away. I can't tell you a specific time because I just sometimes do things when spirit moves me. So it's just what it is, when I have the energy, but I know Imma do something, if that makes sense. So, once a week, at least, you'll see me live, and then Margaret, I know you have a consistent time. What's your time? It's like this time, 7 PM, Central Time every, like, Wednesday, right? Is this your usual time?
Well, since I'm in Alaska, I'm a morning person. I prefer the morning. So I took a couple of naps today, so I would be fresh for this afternoon.
Oh, okay. So, what are your
It's all
usual
good.
times? What are your usual times then?
Well, since I'm retired, I get up, 11 o'clock, different times. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, so your times vary too, but I know I see you all the time. I be like, "She's like Wednesdays, I see you, like, coming through."
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it's all about when my energy is at the highest peaks of the
Mhm.
day. Okay.
Yeah,
So I really, really love this conversation. It's
yeah.
been amazing. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank
Really.
you for having me. This was so fun. Like y'all were really on point over here on this side of Substack. I was like, wait a minute, I might have to come back and visit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna keep expanding our network, okay, our reach and our impact. That's what we're doing.
Yes. And you know
Okay.
what? Next time we'll have to, well, maybe not next time, but like another time we'll have to set time because I know you told me before, but I feel like it clicked in again earlier that you have credentials in organizational psychology, and that's I mean that's I'm not
Yeah.
educated. I don't have like a formal education, but I worked in like training and development, learning and development, leadership development. So I feel like that would also be another great connection point for us in the future because I'm passionate about that kind of work. I think that is so cool that you have that background.
Yeah, maybe we can do some joint venture or partnership in the future. I'm
Mm.
open to opportunities.
Yes. Well, thank you again
We
for
all
having me. I
should
don't want to
be.
overstay my welcome too much. I know we done went for an hour, so it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for joining us. And we'll talk soon.
All right, talk soon. Bye,
Thanks.
y'all.
All right. Bye bye. Bye.